I mean, isn't it like you woke up and you're living in a horror flick? We are. We're living in a horror flick, and it just never ends. It's a war against humanity, and there are certain people who are targeted individuals, myself included. I get gang stalked. I get invitations that I never accept. I just don't mingle with anybody. Today it was a couple of women showing up at my door, and they're right away speaking English. Well, how do they know I'm English, right? And talking to me about the Bible. And they'll get you. They'll try and draw you in any way you can. But as they were talking to me, I was looking at the one woman. You're Jewish. Well, you're talking Christian, but you're Jewish. And the other lady didn't look Jewish, but this one was definitely Jewish, the first lady, the one doing most of the talking. And apparently that's what's happened throughout America and Canada. I have to be really careful, but you're going to find that the Senate and the governor of Maui were both Jewish. And the media is owned by Israel. All of it. Everybody's working for Israel. We're not in a very good position. It's a horror flick. So what are you going to do? What are we going to do? The other day I saw my older brother. I just lost my brother, 53 years old. I saw that my other brother may have been looking at my Facebook profile. So I put a message out there that I had a room available in Quebec. He went homeless a couple of years ago, and nobody offered him a home. He's been involved in a lot of bad drugs and, torn apart family, things like that. Really bad scene at times. But I still love him. He's my older brother. And I remember him as a child. I remember everybody in my family as a child, and so there's no doubt about it that I love them. So I put that out there. That made me feel good. But I also said he has to really love music. I tried to make it light for him, really love music. And he does. Him and I have the same. When we were young, it was beautiful music. Like, I loved to go over to my brother's house to listen to his music. And, that's the thing with my father, too. He loved, oldies, though, oldies. Remember, Elvis Presley said rock and roll made the imagination satanic. And it did. The heavy metal music is just mind-numbing, and people are numb and desensitized, and they don't have a heart anymore. There's so many out there that don't have a heart anymore, and they don't know what they're doing. But there are two worlds going on, and one of them is unconscious, and you just have to know that people are unconscious, and do whatever you can to keep yourself happy and comfortable. Because I'm not going to sugarcoat what's going on. It's going to get worse. They brought in so many people from Afghanistan, Ukraine, China, Colombia, all sorts of places that are living in our neighborhoods now. And it's not for nothing. This is a well planned out takeover, right? It's a takeover, and we can only take care of ourselves right now. That's what I'm doing. I'm not doing very many videos. I am so targeted. My videos go nowhere because they know that I know what's going on. So this is what I hope helps people. If they want to be more like Jesus, this is Jesus. This year I want to be more like Jesus. Hang out with sinners, upset religious people, tell stories that make people think, choose unpopular friends, be kind, loving, and merciful, and take naps on boats. You know, we're raised to be slaves, and I know I am. Like, you know, I feel when I can't get out of bed, or I'm sick and I can't get out of bed, I just don't have any energy. I really, the first thing I do is start beating myself up. Oh, I wish I could do this. I wish I could do that. Well, now in the last 5 years, I've learned that no, you go with the flow, with how you feel. And I get up and I go when I can, and I want to. But when I'm not, I accept it. And I just accept everything around me. And that's how I keep my mind sane, and how I keep my heart in peace, is not beating myself up and not mingling right now. I just can't. I have you guys, my subscribers, and this is what I do from time to time, is talk to you. But we've got a history of mind control using scriptures, education, and Hollywood. And all of those horror movies out there, The Matrix, the 1984, all of the horror shows that they're putting into people's imaginations. You know, these people, they know what they're doing with hypnosis. They know the imagination is the manifester. So it's up to us to stop the thoughts and not think like they want us to think. They're perverting our minds, basically. The headline words are even tempting, right? And they're sodomites. They're women-hating sodomites that are doing this to our humanity. And as far as I can tell, the civilization has to fall. It has to, because we're so infiltrated now. It's probably going to get a lot worse before it gets better, I will say that. Looks like, though, I'm going to live to be 95 like my grandmother. She lived to 94. And I'm feeling so much better. I don't have energy to go out because it's 30 degrees out there. But if it was cooler, I would probably have gone for a long walk today. Feeling really good inside. And looking forward, actually, to my birthday on 9/11. Who knows what's going to happen? I feel a whole new chapter is going to open up. That's what I feel in my heart. A whole new chapter. And I will go with the flow and not fear. There's no fear in me. I mean, nobody dies and nobody owns me, and it's up to me whether or not I walk into hypnosis or not. And I have to keep my mind clear of bad images, you know, porn images, even in words that they're putting out there, this transhuman stuff, and pride parade stuff. It's very disconcerting, but it's what's got to play out. And don't even judge the people playing it out, you know that. Like, you can't judge anybody playing out what they're playing out, because you don't know why they're playing it out. We don't know people underneath these ego costumes. And I said that the destruction of humanity will be Christ-inspired. That means working through people. It's working through people. And so I don't judge anybody what they're doing, other than the ones that are torturing other people for money or chaos. There's so much of that going on. And the sad part is that, you know, families don't realize, you know, what they do when they throw away somebody in the family. They don't realize that they are unprotected. You know, they're not safe. And I'm just happy to be alive and happy that I am safe, and I've got my guides, I've got my, and I've got my mental mind. I'm balanced and I know what I'm doing. I don't lack for anything. I've had a wonderful journey, and now it looks like I may have another 30 years to live. So that's at least how I'm starting to feel with my guides talking to me. I may be wrong, but I feel I am the reflection of my grandmother, so that might be my lot. And I am open. I keep an open mind to whatever. I don't say absolutes because who knows, right? Only God knows when it's my time or your time. So I'm going to live as if I'm going to be living, and I've got to make new plans as I feel better, and I focus on my health, on making sure that I keep doing what I do to keep healthy. You wouldn't believe what I've lived through. You wouldn't believe what I've lived through in the last 30 years, but in these last 2 years in particular, I am very sure that nobody can kill us. They can torture us, but nobody can kill us without our permission. And if we're killed, then it was part of the plan. I really believe that. 2 worlds going on, and we don't know about it. But play in this movie the best way you can. Do what you can to make your role great and feel great. Because it's your movie, after all, that you're taking home. You know, an example of artificial intelligence and television. I watch Come Dine With Me. I don't like it anymore because I'm noticing now that they're introducing so many perverts and ideas in that show too. It's just gross sometimes. They act like immature babies, these people on Come Dine With Me. Anyway, I noticed that people are... I forgot what I was going to say there, but now I remember. I will watch the show 10 times, the same one. I used to watch Come Dine With Me in the 90s. Watch it all the time. And watching these reruns, it's like I've never watched them before. I've always been like that. I can watch the same show over and over again. And I forgot all about that little quirk of mine until now, when just last week I was watching Come Dine With Me, one of the programs, and then today I opened up another episode of Come Dine With Me, and it was the same one as last week, only I didn't recognize it. Like, I didn't know who won. There was 1 or 2. The only reason why I know I saw it last week is because it sounded so familiar. It just sounded familiar. And I kept watching and watching, and yes, I recognize those people, but no, I don't know what's going to happen next. Like, it was just completely not in my brain. And I wonder, you know, like, the memories that I carry here are the memories of, or I want them to be the memories of my heart. And because artificial intelligence isn't remembered in our heart. It's not going to come home with you. Unless it's a horror, I don't know, but emotional horror show, sure. But all in all, we won't remember the programs or the people we watched. We'll only watch our own movie with our own actions and our own thoughts, our own fantasies. So stay in control. Stay in your lane and stay in control of your vehicle, your body. And then use your imagination to make your movie great. Thanks, everybody. Well, it might be that I'm going to be able to prove this story of mine. I've been guided to these videos. This one is on YouTube. You can go and watch the whole thing. I don't want to play it because I'm afraid of being blocked for that. But basically, the Phononicans, right away I saw language in that word, but they're not talking about it as if it's a language, but it is. And it actually says it started in Ireland, Celtic Ireland. And basically something happened, I think. Now this guy isn't saying so, but something was stolen. The word and the language of the Phononicans was stolen to use as hypnosis. And I've told you that this seems to be a red-headed tribe. You know, like I see the redheads. I have very, very strong feelings about redheads. Now, some people are redhead because of DNA transfers through you know what. You know, we get other people's DNA. other animals, whatever is in those jabs, I don't know. But they definitely have DNA in them. And there are some redheads that are redheaded in my family that don't have anything to do with the head choppers, but do they? Because we all come and pick new roles, different roles, each life. And this video here is trying to get to the bottom of who these people were. And what they did is after they desecrated Ireland, and I've got a picture of myself there in the exact same clothing that he was talking about that they were wearing, where I feel it was my very first life. And it was a very happy and content life. And then something bad happened, and our art was stolen, and we were wiped out. But then then they moved on through Britain and France and got to the Mediterranean. And they lived throughout the Mediterranean. Remember the video I showed you yesterday at Cyprus, Greece, where they had all those statues of headless women. And I had this feeling that these are head choppers, and they're redheads. And that's what I've thought all along. So now these videos that I'm watching are confirming some of my details. Let's see.
Death of the Phoenicians. A single vat required the harvesting of tens of thousands of sea snails, living only in Phoenician waters. An alternate explanation is that the Phoenicians may have had reddish hair.
Got it. You see, everything I've been saying is just, it's nobody has said before and that I ever knew about. But here, obviously, there is something going on with that. I saw it in Trump. And see, what happens is these Phoenicians are a bloodline, right? They have bloodlines. Other people have done research that said there's 12 bloodlines that are running the show here. And they're all of this tribe. And they are running the show still. So, it's just more information for my story. I don't know if it interests you or not, but I want to get to the root of my story. And my dreams and visions and visits from spirit and knowing is filling in a lot of the details that are fascinating to know. But the thing is, we all have to remember, we are our ancestors. We pick roles. Like my first life may have been in Ireland, but I know I was also in Jerusalem, right? And I know I was also in Britain. And I know I was in Scotland, and I know I was in Memphis, America. And in different lives. So I've been to those places. It was part of my journey to go back to those places. And when the beings of light came and woke up my consciousness, I had my feelings back. Without feelings, we don't know anything. Only our feelings will tell us the truth. And that's the hardest lesson, because we're taught against our feelings. Feelings are for fairies, or, they're disrespected. Where women are intuitive beings, the right brain. And without that right brain, we can be taken over by Satan. There's no hope. When men have walked into that snake pit, the Garden of Eden, which is hypnosis, which, I really feel that the language was used to develop hypnosis and develop storytelling. Storytellers are people to really avoid. People that take you into stories are taking you into hypnosis, into fantasy. And you've got to know that, whether, I like to watch, stories myself. But if I walked into it as if it was real and began donating money, or giving up my emotions, I am being sucked dry. I never use your emotions for these devices. Just because people bring you fear and news about terrorism doesn't mean you have to get it emotional and send them money. That's what they want. It's the oldest trick in the book, is to fill you up with all this news make you feel emotional, and that's when you spend your money. It's the oldest trick in the book. So that's it about the bloodline, and I think it's time that people realize that we're dealing with a very serious problem, and it's been in lockstep for a lot longer than 50 years. This bloodline has taken right over every department of our lives, and have removed all sense of freedom of will, and we can't give it up. If you give up your free will, you're on your own, baby, because the feminine spirit can't be born back here. They're wiping it out. They're head chopping it in using chemistry now, lobotomizing our mothers, our daughters. We're dressing them up like, the Barbie dolls, and we give them so much praise for that. We only think of them as objects. They're not human to people. Women are not human. And this is really disturbing me. The more I feel it, and boy, do I ever feel it. And I know a lot of other women that are waking feel it too. It's just, they're sodomites. They hate women. And they're trying to replace a birthing system. And you know that's what they're doing now, the artificial intelligence. They're using women. Epstein had a fertility clinic in New Mexico. They're insane. They're doing all sorts of things with organs and transferring that. Honey, you got to know the difference between evil and good. And if you think it's good that somebody received a heart or a lung of somebody else and you're all happy for them, think again. That's judging, because it's not good. You don't know where the lung came from. You don't know anything. All you know is that you're alive and somebody else is dead, but you've read a story about that. Probably some sob story that, make you all warm and fuzzy, but it'll be a lie, because this is a for-profit business, and anything for profit does not resemble love and honor and dignity or anything. There was a woman that commented on BitChute underneath one of my comments, and she said, "I'm so glad you said that," because I was talking about this organ transferring around. She said, "Because I know that in 2020 they took everything out of my husband while he was alive." And they have to, because they have to have oxygen. It's not like on TV where you're carrying around a case with a lung in it or a heart in it or eyeballs in it. Like you see on TV, these ambulance going hospital to hospital to Russia. Lung. You can't. It has to have oxygen. And they're taking them while people are alive. And they're the term brain dead. They'll tell people, well, they're brain dead. There's no such thing as brain dead. There's no such thing as brain dead. If the brain was dead, the body would die. It's like if the heart was dead, the body would die. It's an organ. But they've got us so fooled and so duped that people are... It's time to recover your consciousness of Christ, which is your consciousness of all-knowing. And that means you're not afraid to look at the truth. You're not afraid of what the truth might be. And it's ugly, guys. Ugly. But you gotta look. We're not going nowhere until we look. And then we're able to rebuke it. We're able to be strong again. Take back our free will. As soon as you look and you realize they are nothing. They are zero. They are less than intelligent. They have no right brain whatsoever. They're totally lopsided and focused on one gender. It's really sick. And that's what's going on today in my imagination. Thanks, everybody. So Google is a Freemason, and they often put out messages in their little logo. Today, for Labor Day, they have chaos, don't they? It's it's chaos. I don't know what you guys can see in this, but on the surface, you probably think, oh, these are just worker people that they're putting out for Labor Day, worker men. right? Firemen, workermen, but there's a hidden message in here. For one, it's a tsunami, it's a hurricane. Something about oranges, guys. I see orange a lot coming up with these Satanists, the redheads. Something about orange going on. Painting things orange. Painting things orange, I see there. I don't know. It's chaos, and that's the message for Labor Day.